Kelsey Lang going up against Chelsea Gardner down low to start the game off.
And interesting that Chelsea Gardner does not take the tap. Instead, it was Jada Brown almost conceding to the Longhorns in that regard. And in the burnt orange, Texas facing the man-to-man Jayhawk defense. We'll start with the basketball. There's Ariel Atkins, who did not play against Kansas the last time around because of an injury. She turns it over her first time down the floor.
I think it was really a 2-3 zone from the Jayhawks we saw in that possession, actually. Something we haven't seen too much from the Jayhawks.
Right, force of habit by me calling it a man-to-man defense because that's basically what they played all season long. Shayla Cheadle's three-pointer off the mark, and Sanders with the rebound. And
Shayla Cheadle is known for her defense, and I think she's struggling offensively, and I think that's gotten to her even on the defensive end.
Natalie Knight had gone for the steal, and on the drive to the basket, Chelsea Gardner tried to draw the charge, is called for the blocking foul. That's her first.
And Plan A will go after the leading scorer for the Jayhawks, try to get her in foul trouble, and that's exactly what the Longhorns did on that possession, going right out Chelsea Gardner.
Ariel Atkins missed 8 games during the middle of the season because of an ankle injury. One of those games, as I mentioned earlier, the game against Kansas, which was the first game for both of these teams in league play. So it's been a while since these two have seen one another. She misses the second free throw, and Jada Brown with the rebound.
And a vastly different team we're seeing from Texas. You mentioned the injury to Nneka, a phenomenal player she was for them. She is out due to an ACL injury.
Jada Brown from the short corner, rims in and out, and rebound to Texas. Cardi. Lang tried to bounce it inside, and a nice steal by Jada Brown.
Interesting how it was Kelsey Lang, the center at the top of the key, trying to get a pass on the low block to a guard. They like the matchup, but heads-up play from Jada Brown to knock it away.
There's Natalie Knight. Aldridge for 3. She got it!
Lauren Aldridge, the freshman, playing so many minutes for Kansas and had her feet set. Rises up, knocks down a big 3 for the Jayhawks to get them on the board.
Fall-away shot by Taylor misses. Lang has the loose ball, gets it out to McCarty for a 3. Another offensive rebound for the Longhorns. Lang from 19 feet, airballs it.
And you'll let Kelsey Lang have that look, but extra possessions, you're gonna have to limit that because Texas is the best in the Big 12 at getting extra looks, but as they clean up the glass, they lead in that rebounding margin.
Chelsea Gardner, you don't mind her taking that 19-footer usually, but she missed that one badly, and then Lang snuck in behind Gardner to get the basket.
And that's a more comfortable shot from Kelsey Lang. The possession before, she took a long jumper, but you're hoping she can get a look closer to the basket. Exactly, well-executed play from Texas.
Tied at 3 in the early going. Here's a low post catch for Gardner, trying to shoot it over the much longer Lang and missing the shot. Rebound Texas. McCarty with the behind the back move, lobs it in the corner. Taylor taking it right at Chelsea Gardner. This time it is an offensive foul call.
Texas foul, number 20, Breonna Taylor.
And that's a bold move, really, from Chelsea Gardner to go ahead and sit in there and try to take another charge. She already picked up a personal foul. You definitely do not want her to pick up the next one, but she really got an elbow in the face. So toughness she is showing down low.
Chelsea just did get outside of the restricted arc to make sure that that could be ruled a charge instead of a block. Shot clock down to 10 for the Jayhawks. Now down to 5. Natalie Knight's going to have to do something with it. She takes the pull-up 19-footer that misses. Neither team really in sync so far offensively, Jill. There's a jumper as soon as I say that by Ariel Atkins from the corner.
And Ariel Atkins is, as you mentioned, Nate, missed 8 games in the beginning of the season or due to some injury, and so she's back in the lineup. I mean, she's a freshman, but one of those top 10 kids coming out of high school. So She is a phenomenal athlete.
Gardner airballs turnaround shot, but a foul on Texas will bring us to our first media timeout. 5-3 Texas lead. We're brought to you by Delta Dental of Kansas on the Jayhawk IMG Sport.
By that, by penetrating into the lane and even kicking it back out, but she is aggressive, and they need that aggressive player on the floor for Kansas.
Chelsea Gardner from the free throw line misses the first.
Alongside with Asia Boyd is also Terriel Bradley, the freshman for Kansas. She had 31 minutes, which is a season high for her at West Virginia as well this past Tuesday. So she's been playing very well. She can also penetrate, provide some offense for Kansas.
Unusual from Chelsea Gardner to miss 2 free throws, and Ariel Atkins at the other end misfires on a jumper. Here's the aforementioned Asia Boyd with a turnaround fall away that misses short. Going after her own rebound, Boyd is called for the foul.
Kansas foul on 0, Asia Boyd.
And Texas was hustling back in transition, so Asia Boyd, she cut off that lane to the basket, and then she had to turn around and shoot a fadeaway, a bit of a hesitation.
Near steal by Terriel Bradley. Almost another near steal by Terriel, but Ariel Atkins, that is, on Terriel Bradley, has her second basket of the game. Here's Bradley in the corner for a 3.
Kansas has been ice cold thus far on the offensive end.
Lang trying to take it on Gardner that time. KU coming away with a loose ball. And a hand-checking foul going to be called on Ariel Atkins.
Texas foul number 24, Ariel Atkins, her first.
See Terriel Bradley coming in, checking into the game. She was trying to penetrate, take her defender off the dribble. Gets that foul called against her, but you like when Asia Boyd and Terriel Bradley come into the ball game because they're more slasher type players.
Asia Boyd going to be called for 5 seconds.
Shayla Cheadle returns for Kansas, replacing Asia Boyd.
Anya Henriksen a little frustrated with the offense so far of her Jayhawks. And subbing Asia Boyd right back out of the ball game. So Hawks 1 of 8 from the floor so far. 0 for their last 5. Sanders with a deep catch, but misses. Cheadle head fakes on the 3. Left-handed shot, misses badly. But she comes up with the steal.
Kansas doesn't have numbers, so smart to pull it back out, but unfortunately Terriel Bradley sometimes forcing the issue a bit, obviously, on that possession. So she gets called for an offensive foul, just pushing with her elbow.
Well, unfortunately for the Jayhawks, this is a little too reminiscent of the first half they had in their last ball game at West Virginia, when they scored just 15 points in the first half. And the bizarre thing about that, Jill, was they scored just 15 in the first half, which was only 2 points more than the lowest point total in program history for a first half. But then in the second half, they scored 41 and shot 55% from the floor. So it's hard to understand how that could be the same team from one half to the next. And now another slow start offensively for the Jayhawks here today.
And that's the thing that Bonnie Henderson has mentioned. Consistency of that scoring is what they're going to need to put together. The Big 12 is so difficult, and that was a great look up and in from Chelsea Gardner, but the penetration is really what created that shot. But going back to it, it's just been that, can they sustain that level of play? Obviously, they put together a half where they can put up 41 points, a tremendous effort, but you can't have a half in the first half where you only score 15. So putting those 2 halves together.
3-second violation called on Amani McGee Stafford. Let's take a look now at our St. Luke's Health System keys to the game, vitals to the game.
Now on the defensive end for Kansas, it's really limiting the scoring in the paint on defense. And then on offense, you have to attack, you have to penetrate. And that last play was a great indicator and example of that, getting into the paint, and then Chelsea Gardner just taking an easy pass for a layup. So penetrate those lanes and then limit that scoring underneath, because Texas does have that size advantage on the block.
Natalie Knight bouncing it over to Gardner. Now back outside, here's Aldridge with it. Knight driving baseline. Cheadle passed up an open look, gave it over to Aldridge, who knocks it down.
Quick release from Lauren Aldridge, the freshman who hits her second three of the ball game. Much needed offense.
Well, there's a long range bomb by Brady Sanders, the junior out of Godley, Texas.
She's a perimeter player that can knock down those threes. Just always looking to spot up for that three.
Her 20th three-point field goal of the season. Aldridge driving in is fouled on Brooke McCarty, the freshman.
Another great example of attacking the basket. Lauren Aldridge just taking it down the lane. She's knocked down a couple of threes, so that sometimes opens up those lanes to the basket.
Terrific free throw shooter as well. Let's take a look at that three-pointer on the ball reversal by Aldridge.
And it's that extra pass. And that first time they matched up against Texas in Austin, it's that second, third side. So meaning ball rotation, making that defense work. And that extra pass from Cheadle to Aldridge is what led to that.
Just saw Steve and Jennifer Aldridge, the parents of Lauren. They're from Marshfield, Missouri. They make it over to basically every home game and most of the road games as well. And their daughter has made it a tie ball game at 10.
Both coaches are going to try to combat. Once they see one big come in, they're going to substitute theirs in as well. So you have Imani McGee Stafford, the junior, shooting the free throw, knocks down the first shot. She has a good-looking shot at 6'7". And then Kaylin Manning-Allen for the Jayhawks at 6'4". She plays longer than that, extremely long arms. It'll be interesting down low. Keep an eye on that matchup.
So McGee Stafford makes one of two. You know, she had been starting lately since the Nneka Enemkpale injury, and in her starts, she was averaging 14 points and 8.5 rebounds a game. So a little surprising here that she didn't make the start today. An offensive foul called on Kansas at the other end. And immediately, Chelsea Gardner right back into the ballgame.
Chelsea Gardner just needing a bit of a break, I think, and they using that timeout, and then really just a couple seconds outside, but just a bit of a break for her.
And a foul was called on Kaylin Manning-Allen. Getting inside, it's Deanna Ikabogan.
This is a powerful move, really, with that going at Asia Boyd. Asia Boyd was just really knocked back, thinking maybe she could take a charge, but not going down to the floor. She didn't sell it quite well.
And Kebogun is making an appearance for the first time in 12 games. She's not played in the last 12 games for Texas. And now she's called for the foul on the drive by Asia Boyd.
And then Kansas trying to push the issue, the tempo in transition. But how about that? Really the no-look pass to Asia Boyd streaking down the basket, down the floor. She's going to go to the line.
And the first one is good for Asia Boyd.
On that play, give a ton of credit to Lauren Aldridge. She is having quite a ball game, knocking down, providing some offense, but also with that nice pass.
And I think that a guard should get an assist. You make a pass like that that leads to 2 free throws and 2 points. Why doesn't that count as an assist?
Huh? No. Plead your case. I like the argument.
Plead my case to somebody who cares?
I'm listening.
I appreciate that.
It's Valentine's Day, you know, so partner in crime here.
You're always there to listen. And the Jayhawks back to within 1. Almost came up with a turnover there. And now Kebogun is called for the travel. And She's going to do as many things as possible to make me say her last name as many
She
times
is.
as possible.
She's going to check out of the ball game, so you have a little bit of a rest.
Jayhawks with a chance to reclaim the lead here. Boyd with the left hand, out to Natalie Knight. The senior in search of 1,000 points. Entry pass intended for Gardner, knocked away by McGee Stafford.
And that entry pass was just a second too late. Cheadle tried to put it on the floor, but if she would have caught that ball, put it right into Chelsea Gardner, she actually had McGee Stafford stealed and was down on that low block.
And it's out of bounds off of Texas. Good hustle play by Empress Davenport. So the Jayhawks will have 10 seconds to shoot. Terriel Bradley will come back into the ballgame for KU, replacing Natalie Knight. Jayhawks trying to reset their offense a little bit here before they inbound. Asia Boyd to do the honors now. 5 seconds. Aldridge tried to dump it across to Gardner, but couldn't quite connect on the pass. But you like the idea there, I think, Jill.
I do. I like the aggressiveness. Lauren Aldridge understands the shot clock was winding down and has to get to the basket. I think a little bit of miscommunication with her freshman counterpart.
Henderson. Taylor tried to zip the pass inside of McGee Stafford. Maybe a little too much mustard on it. And McGee Stafford couldn't hold on. So the Jayhawks still down by 1 with the basketball now. And they run this play to get Gardner open sometimes in the short corner, but she could not knock down the shot. And a little scary moment as some bodies hitting the deck. A foul is called on Texas. It's going to be on Empress Davenport, I think, for dragging Terriel Bradley down on that rebound.
Yeah, and you mentioned this, a scary moment, as you don't want any player, and that knee is such in a vulnerable spot. Terriel Bradley. Both teams have suffered key injuries to their squads. Texas has had 9 of their athletes miss a combined 36 games. Kansas had a couple players, one of their point guards out for the season with an ACL injury.
Keela O'Neal, yep.
Right, and a couple players, key players. Keela Morgan out as well.
Her career is over because of a health-related issue. So yeah, the Jayhawks without 2 players for the remainder of the year, and that happened fairly early in the season for them as well. Atkins driving in, the foul on Kansas, and of course, Nneka Enampale is a devastating injury for this Texas team. She's probably the best player in the entire conference, one of the best in the country. And not just because of her talent level, but because of the motor that she plays with, so much energy in going after offensive rebounds and everything else that she can do on the floor. But I'd say that Bonnie Hendrickson of the Jayhawks can identify with that as well. When you look back at all the devastating ACLs they've had to some of their best players over the year. They lost future WNBA player Danielle McCray 1 year to an ACL tear. They lost the best point guard maybe in the history of the women's program here, Angel Goodrich, twice to ACL tears.
Well, Natalie Knight had an ACL injury. Yep. It's a common injury, obviously, we see in
especially
women's
in the women's
athletics.
game,
Yes. Different anatomy, obviously, that can lead to maybe some more prone to ACL injuries. But, you know, no one's going to feel sorry for you in the Big 12 Conference. As one of the premier conferences in women's basketball, you have to move on and you kind of have to regroup. And both of these teams are prime examples of trying to just move on from injuries and you know, putting the pieces together.
Natalie Knight turns it over. And Longhorns on the run out. Taylor with a pull-up shot off the window. And Bonnie Hendrickson wants a timeout.
Timeout. Starts for Kansas. 30-second time.
Proven that for whatever reason, they're not really sure why yet, but you know, female athletes are exponentially more likely to suffer torn ACLs in their athletic careers, and there have been a lot of studies done to try to figure out exactly why. How much of it's anatomy, how much of it might be the fundamentals that could come into the way that they play certain games is Asia Boyd with a nice drive to the basket, but whoever figures out the answer to that and a way to prevent it is going to become very famous in the women's game, because it's become a problem for so many coaches across the country in multiple women's sports.
Yeah, definitely. I see that on the volleyball side as I cover volleyball, many volleyball matches. It is definitely a key injury, and anytime you go up maybe with that one, the layup or a slide attack in the game of volleyball, you put yourself a little bit more prone to that injury, perhaps.
Atkins' first free throw is good. To go back to Ariel Atkins, freshman out of Duncanville, highly touted coming into the season. Missed 8 games in the middle of the season because of an ankle injury, but coming back from that, has had some really good games, hasn't necessarily sustained it. Just 4 points in their last game, a loss against Oklahoma State. But she's already got 9 points in this ball game today, and the Longhorns again have matched their largest lead of 5 points, and now another turnover against that full court press on a careless pass by Asia Boyd that time. Lang backing the way down on Gardner, but missing the turnaround. Look at the box out by Chelsea, which leads to the foul on Kelsey Lang.
And she continued to work throughout that rebound, thinking perhaps she's going to pick up that foul, and knowing that she had great positioning. Watch this box out as she was just continuing to work to drive her out. So give some credit to Chelsea Gardner, who just continued to battle throughout to get the rebound and then have Kelsey Lang pick up that personal foul.
And that's the 7th on the Longhorns, so it'll put Chelsea at the free throw line to shoot 1 and 1. Rare occurrence earlier in the game when she missed 2 free throws in a row. Chelsea's a 75% free throw shooter, so you expect her to have the odds catch back up to her a little bit and hit a few free throws in a row here. Chelsea coming off her 7th double-double of the season in that heartbreaking loss against West Virginia. And she's got 4 points now.
Anytime you can pick up points when the clock is stopped, especially still with 8 minutes remaining in this first half, that is good, as Kansas can be aggressive and get to the free throw line.
Jayhawks back into that zone defense that we saw early in the game. Good ball movement by the Longhorns against the zone, but a missed jumper by Davenport. Rebound out of bounds off Kansas. And that's one of the keys there, Jill. Rebounding out of the zone defense. We'll talk more about that as we are brought to you by Time Warner Cable on the Jayhawk IMG Sports. And now the Jayhawks don't necessarily love their shooting percentage. 26% from the floor so far from KU. And a foul is called on Shayla Cheadle. That's going to be her second, so she didn't check right out of the ball game.
And it's Jada Brown that's going to check in for Cheadle, as those two are known for their defense. Trying to get out quickly on Ariel Atkins, who's going to get her hand, so picks up the foul. Ariel Atkins for the Longhorns has been definitely their aggressor, now leading all players with 10 points. That's half of the Longhorns' points. Some quick math right there, Nate. You like that?
That's why you're here. Now even more than half of their points. So she's got 11 of 21. Here's Natalie Knight, who has yet to score for the Jayhawks. Brown trying to throw it inside to Chelsea, who was knocked away by McGee Stafford with those long arms. But the Longhorns turn it over. Look out, cheerleaders, as Crystal Henderson went spilling out of bounds, trying to track down that loose ball.
And Imani McGee Stafford at 6'7" can reach over, not pick up a personal foul on Chelsea Gardner, who's 6'3". So that was really the deflection. Most players obviously don't have that length, would get called for you for the personal foul.
So trying to find some ways to get Chelsea Gardner some space away from these lanky interior players of Texas, and they ran a nice play there that almost got a touch inside for Gardner, but good help defense by the Longhorn guards to knock it out of bounds. And we've seen Chelsea take a couple of those patented mid-range jumpers that we see her take so many times, but she hasn't been able to knock one down so far today. There's Natalie Natalie Knight. She'll take it in herself, but misses. Stafford just reaches up for the rebound.
A great look for Natalie Knight, one that she wishes she could have back because it was really an open lane.
There's Ariel Atkins at it again. She's got 13 already.
Only averaging 8 points a game, but she's definitely showing the offensive firepower she can provide.
Who's going to heat up for the Jayhawks? They need somebody. Lauren Aldridge has had a hot hand in the early going. Asia Boyd would like to get started, and that's a good way to do it. She's got 7.
Asia Boyd, averages in double figures for the Jayhawks, so she can provide that offense. And how about that defense too?
Natalie Knight deflected that pass. Boyd trying her hand again on a 3. And McGee Stafford just went right over Chelsea Gardner to get that rebound. Turnaround shot missing by Taylor. She gets it back again. Boyd finally with the rebound.
Well, and rebounding margin when Texas is, hey, how about that? Natalie Knight heating up finally for her first basket. But when you have one of the best rebounding margin teams in the country, you're going to have to continue. But maybe she gets it from her parents, but always composed. And you actually got to like that from Natalie Knight. She's always that consistent performer for the Jayhawks.
And it's dad more than mom. Natalie will tell you that mom can get pretty fired up at games, but dad, James, coached her all the way through her youth, and she said that was pretty much the look on his face at all times, and she said she's much more like her dad than her mom when it comes to that even-keeled nature.
And it's nearby Olathe, Kansas, so not very far for them to travel.
Chelsea Gardner fighting for that loose ball. Aldridge again for 3, this time misses. And boy, McGee Stafford barely has to jump. I mean, she reaches up and she's right by the rim. Sanders got left open for 3 in transition, but misses. Out of bounds off Texas.
Really a frantic pace. McGee Stafford didn't even get past half court before that shot goes up. But open look there for Brady Sanders, and she is going to fire away when she is left that wide open. Fortunately for the Jayhawks, unable to knock it down, and they can now take the lead.
Boy, they left Boyd open, and that one was halfway down, but then kicked back out.
Well, for much size both of these teams have, especially Texas, they're shooting from the perimeter. Kansas hasn't let too many easy baskets underneath for Texas, so they have limited some of that.
Out of bounds off Texas. McGee Stafford touched it last. Longhorns are one of their last 9 from the floor, so neither team exactly lighting it up offensively so far. Both teams below 30% for the game. 7 seconds to shoot. Asia Boyd just rises up and fires. Boy, she's had a couple of shots that have been halfway down, but haven't fallen. Now McCarty in transition.
Great hustle from Asia Boyd, not getting that shot to fall, but hustles back in transition, grips down the rebound.
The Jayhawks again with a chance to reclaim the lead. And there's Jada Brown dishing over to Chelsea Gardner, the basket and the foul.
And not often do we see Jada Brown really with that move, but how about it? Aggressive, pushing that ball dry. Chelsea Gardner, which is going to lead her for the opportunity for this 3-point play. She knocks down the basket and then see if she can complete it.
So Gardner on pace for another double-double here today. And now she's got 7 points, and the Jayhawks lead by 2.
That ties the largest lead for Kansas in this ball game. Texas came out, they had a 7-point lead, so Kansas is showing some fight.
Here's a baseline jumper by guess who? Ariel Atkins. It's been an aerial display. Huh?
I like it. That was good.
That's bad.
Good. No, I'll give you credit. 15 points for Ariel Atkins. Just the freshman, 5'11". She is extremely athletic and score in a variety of ways.
Short corner jumper by Gardner misses, but a rebound to Texas. Keep an eye on Atkins there in the corner. Zone defense again by Kansas. Shot clock at 10 for the Longhorns. Here's Sanders. Down to 5. Atkins open again, misses this time. Well, Natalie Knight thought she had an open Chelsea Gardner, but the long arms of Amani McGee-Stafford able to steal that. Now Sanders from long range again, missing. Boyd got away with maybe a foul there on Atkins with the rebound.
Kansas in this 2-3 zone. Texas is already a phenomenal rebounding team, but sometimes you give up a little bit more rebounds really when you switch to that zone.
Got a couple of missed long jumpers by Texas. You can see why the Jayhawks have gone zone there. Longhorns 1 of 5 from beyond the arc so far. Here's Natalie Knight out front. Stepping back for the three-pointer. She got it!
And rattles it home. How about that play? Exactly how they designed it. Chelsea Gardner coming out to set the screen and just a little step back. Gets her feet set, knocks it down.
Now 4 points away from 1,000 for Natalie Knight, and Chelsea Gardner just picked up foul number 2.
Kansas foul on number 15.
Which means she will be done for the rest of the half.
Let's take another look at this three. Is she's going to move it around. You see Chelsea Gardner providing that screen. The defender was slipping under, so Natalie Knight does a smart thing and just goes and steps back behind the arc and gets her feet set, knocks it down. 6 points in the ball game for Natalie Knight.
McGee-Stafford misses the free throw. So for Natalie Knight, she's at 996 points in her career, so she looks to have a great chance to get to 1,000 here tonight. But keep in mind, that is also after missing almost half of a season because of a torn ACL 2 years ago. She's still going to get to that 1,000-point plateau.
A phenomenal career. And again, from nearby Olathe, Kansas. So you got to love that local talent coming in to Lawrence, Kansas, having such a phenomenal career as they've looked to her this season to be more aggressive on the offensive end. And she is providing that, but that level of consistency is what you got to love from Natalie Knight.
Started every game of her career that she was available for. She's had her shot thrown that time by McGee-Stafford. Davenport driving inside. Boyd keeps the rebound alive, and so does Lauren Aldridge. Aldridge thought about the three, instead throws it inside to Manning Allen, who looked like she might have had a move to get around McGee-Stafford, but took too many steps in doing so. I don't know about you, Jill, though. I like the fact that Manning Allen caught that ball and didn't think to herself, well, I'm just going to throw it back out because there's a 6'7" kid behind me. She wanted to go right at McGee-Stafford.
And you could tell she was fired up. She was up for that challenge. Unfortunately, it just shuffles her feet. As you can tell, she had good positioning on the low block.
Well, I don't know about
sure that was a travel either.
Yeah.
I think she put the ball down as she was taking that step.
There's a three-pointer from Crystal Henderson, who is just a 22% three-point shooter on the season, but she puts Texas back in front. Now the Jayhawks can essentially go for the last shot of the half here. Aldridge hands it off to Knight. 10 seconds to shoot. Natalie will take the three. Rebound comes out to Boyd. 8 seconds left in the half. Manning Allen going at Stafford that time and comes up on the wrong end of it. Gets the loose ball, though. And what do we have? We've got a whistle and a carry on Manning Allen, apparently, with 1.2 seconds left in the half.
Not the outcome the Jayhawks were looking for, but you have to appreciate the hustle on that play for your big to come out. Tonight, weren't they behind?
Yep.
Or they lost to Oklahoma, so that will be, they'll go down in the rankings as well.
So Kelsey Lang and Chelsea Gardner both back out there, playing with 2 fouls to start the second half. Shot clock down to 10 for the Jayhawks here. Cheadle's going to drive in with it. Underneath to Jada Brown with nice body control and court awareness to finish that basket.
Well, if you're looking for a solid possession right out of the second half, you got it. And you're happy if you're Bonnie Hendrickson. And how about the deflection on the defensive end from Natalie Knight?
Brown going to the basket, and they call an offensive foul on Jada Brown.
Well, Jada Brown in this ballgame, we don't see her too much take players off the dribble, but she has been aggressive, more aggressive on that offensive end. And that time, I think, just couldn't compose herself and picks up that offensive foul.
We see that 2-3 zone again from the Jayhawks. Laying inside, airballs it. Chelsea Gardner with the rebound. Cheadle, and she's fouled. Shayla Cheadle with the spin move, threw it off the side of the rim, but a foul on Texas. And the good news for the Longhorns, though, is that foul is on Taylor, not on Lang, who was also involved in the play. That would have been number 3 on Lang, but it's on the sophomore guard Taylor. That's her second. So Shayla Cheadle's gone a couple of games without scoring. She played 14 minutes against the Mountaineers on Tuesday night, did not score, and that free throw gives her her first point on the night.
Averaging 6 points a game, 3 rebounds. She's been in the starting lineup for much of the season for the Jayhawks because she's known really for her defense and has done a great job, oftentimes going up and matching against the opponent's best player and leading scorer. But you gotta like when she can provide some offense as well.
There's a shot off the window, good by Breonna Taylor. It's a 1-point ball game. Natalie Knight trying to work her way to the basket. She does not score, but she is fouled by Brady Sanders. The march towards 1,000 points could inch closer here for Natalie Knight as she will shoot a couple of free throws. A very good free throw shooter in her career is Natalie Knight. Sanders hands on hips after picking up her first foul. There's point 997 for Natalie Knight.
Replacing Jada Brown.
And it gives Kansas a 2-point lead. One more free throw to go. 998. Taylor in the middle of that zone, couldn't get it to fall, but right there for the putback is Kelsey Lang, just her second basket of the game.
Well, Kansas in that zone, you can see Texas they found someone in the middle and then didn't knock it down, but cleaning up the glass. And how about Cheadle again with the offensive mindset, the aggressiveness.
That's her first field goal of the game. Jayhawks lead by 3. Taylor. She's been the one player for Texas that's been willing to get inside of that Kansas zone. She has had a tough time getting the shots to fall, but she picks up a big foul right there because that is number 3 on Chelsea Gardner. Still 17:35 to go in the game. Chelsea Gardner is likely out for a while now. So Jill, Taylor just 2 of 9 from the floor. And you might look at that and say, well, that's not a very good offensive game. But she's doing something that the other Texas players are not, getting into that zone. And she might have just made the play of the game, even though it only results in 1 point, by putting Chelsea Gardner on the bench for an extended stretch here coming up.
And she's really playing the 4 spot for Texas as they decided not to go with the Twin Towers, if you will, underneath. Because she is athletic and she can go up and create her own shot, but also just get into the lane.
Manning Allen with the step through. She scores with the left hand, so filling in for Chelsea Gardner.
And I think she might have lost her contact. Hopefully she can gather it as she's squinting.
And there's a travel on Breonna Taylor, and we'll see if Kaylin can find that contact lens if she lost it.
But I like that play. In the first half, if you can recall, she got called on a travel as she tried to put the ball on the floor, and she has a travel. And then at that time, she didn't even dribble the ball. She just went up strong, didn't get a travel, put it up and in. And I think Ann Wallace is going to give her some contact solution.
I'm going to tell you something. The assist on this one goes to Bonnie Henriksen. I don't know how good Bonnie's eyesight is, but she was out on the court pointing toward the Jayhawk feathers as to right where the contact lens was. I mean, she saw it come out and saw where it landed. I don't know how from the coach's bench you could see a contact lens hitting the floor, but Bonnie Henriksen did. And Kaylin Manning Allen has to sub out of the ballgame for a second, but she does have the contact back thanks to her head coach, who somehow spotted it landing on the floor.
Well, she doesn't miss much. You can probably recall every play of every single game, and she was aware, and yeah, give her the assist on the contact lens finding.
It was a charge on Asia Boyd, and so freshman Lorraine Enibulele came in to replace Manning Allen while she had her contact replaced, and right after the charge, she comes right back out. So Lorraine's name will appear on the box score now, but unless she comes back in later in the game, it will appear as playing 0 minutes. Sanders, three-pointer, good.
That one looked good from the moment it left Sanders' hands.
It's her second three-pointer of the ball game.
She logs a lot of minutes for the Longhorns. She's similar to Natalie Knight in the fact that she's very consistent. She's even-killed, not going to turn the ball over often. Does a good job on the defensive end, and they can knock down that three.
Jayhawks still looking for consistent offense with Chelsea Gardner on the bench. Going to get a foul on Texas. It's on Ariel Atkins, her second. And the Jayhawks would love to keep taking it at Atkins and seeing if they could get her into some foul trouble, because they've had no answer for her for the most part on the other end of the floor, where she's had 16 points.
I think if you're Kansas here, you got to drive in and try to get Kelsey Lane to pick up her third personal foul, much like Texas did to Chelsea Gardner.
Aldridge driving it down to Cheadle. Cheadle will take it all the way to the basket, but cannot get it to fall. So the Longhorns with a chance to reclaim the lead for the first time since the half started. They did lead by one at the break. Atkins misses on the jumper, but an offensive rebound to Sanders. And now Taylor scores and a foul. Foul will be on Shayla Cheadle, her third. Back with more, brought to you by Delta Dental of Kansas on the Jayhawk IMG Sports Network. Longhorns now on the bench for the Jayhawks now. I'm sorry, yes, Gardner and Cheadle, with 3 fouls apiece as Taylor hits the free throw. She's got 8 points now, and it's a 2-point Texas lead. The Jayhawks, led by as many as 4. We go to stoppage here as it looks like Asia Boyd might have been elbowed, and they're going to check the monitors. Tina Napier telling us, yes, incidental contact is the call. So Jayhawks will have it facing the full court press out of the timeout, or out of the stoppage. And somebody's got to come back and help Aldridge. Now Natalie Knight receives the pass. Bradley wide open, misses the three.
Success on breaking the press, but open look, wide open, almost too much time from Terrell Bradley. Sometimes when you have too much time, you think about it.
She's been a really good three-point shooter, 45% in her freshman year. There's a block by Manning Allen. Bradley with the loose ball.
You mentioned Terrell Bradley being good from behind the arc. She's better also when she's playing that 2-guard spot. She's had to play some backup point guard due to the injury, but looking more comfortable. But how about the aggressiveness from Asia Boyd, slashing to the basket once again.
And that is foul number 3 on Kelsey Lang. More on that in a moment. What about the defense at the other end by Manning Allen?
Manning Allen getting a block. We talk about the bigs for Texas and their blocking ability, but Kaylin Manning Allen getting involved in that category.
She's not logging a boatload of minutes this year, Manning Allen, but when you look at her blocks per minutes played, she's about as good as anybody in the conference.
Also checking in, Imani McGee-Stafford.
And a big development here is now both Kelsey Lang and Chelsea Gardner are on the bench because of 3 personal fouls apiece. And both these teams with a little bit of a luxury in the fact that they can go to the bench and bring in more lengthy players. The official's going to talk things over here. I'm not sure what they're discussing this time. But McGee-Stafford, it was Karen Aston, the head coach for Texas, maybe wasn't sure who the foul was on. It looked clearly that, at least at first blush, that the foul was on Langs for reaching in there with the left hand. Maybe Aston thought the foul should have gone against Empress Davenport, who was also on the side of Boyd there. But as it is, to go back to my point, when you can go bring in Imani McGee-Stafford at 6'7", when your starting center goes out, that's not bad. And the Jayhawks have been able to go to Kaylin Manning Allen at 6'4", as Gardner's been out. And we're tied at 40 now to those free throws by Boyd.
And interesting enough, we haven't seen either team play with both of their bigs in at the same time.
And there's McGee-Stafford with her first basket of the ball game. Terriel Bradley driving all the way to the basket, can't quite get it to fall. Rebound, knocked out of bounds off of Manning Allen.
And a clean look, really, but you got to like the aggressiveness. And unfortunately, he doesn't get it to fall, but at point-blank range.
A little bit of traffic there, just enough to distract Bradley off the shot. Brady's three-pointer off the mark with a foul on Kansas. After McGee-Stafford got the rebound, that'll be on Manning Allen, her second.
And complete luxury at 6'7". You don't even have to have positioning all the time, but if you're 6'7", you reach over and you pick up the rebound, and then you're going to go to the free throw line to see if you can get a couple easy ones from the stripe.
McGee-Stafford had worked her way into the starting lineup and had started 5 games. And during those starts, as I mentioned earlier, averaging 14 points and 8 rebounds per game. So we were surprised to not see her in the starting lineup today. And she's coming off of a game where she had 16 and 12 against Oklahoma State, but didn't start today. She's got 5 now, though, and the Longhorns have a 4-point lead. Terriel Bradley. Passing it out to Natalie Knight. Aldridge driving in with the left hand, and she traveled with it, tried to head fake, and that's all courtesy of the presence of Imani McGee-Stafford at 6'7", coming over, and it just kind of might make you shuffle your feet a little bit.
You're not going to see Lauren Aldridge travel too often. I mean, I've very rarely seen her get called for a travel. She was really just trying to wait for McGee-Stafford to come down as she knew she left her feet.
It's a bad pass from Ariel Atkins. It goes out of bounds. It was intended for Crystal Henderson. Pass was a little too high. So turnovers on each end.
I think a key possession for Kansas offensively here. See what you can get going with Chelsea Gardner still on the bench. Who's going to provide that offense?
Here's Terriel Bradley, shot clock down to 6. Asia Boyd back to Aldridge, down to 3. Somebody's got to shoot it. Natalie Knight just puts up a prayer at the end there. Rebound back to Texas. Henderson, McGee-Stafford, blocking foul on Asia Boyd. I don't think she actually got squared up on Stafford there.
McGee-Stafford at 6'7", streaking down, her hand up high, calling for the ball. And Asia Boyd just late getting to that position. Good call from the official, calling a blocking foul.
And that is the 3rd on Asia Boyd. And Stafford missing the free throw. Asia Boyd comes out of the ballgame with those 3 fouls, but she's replaced by somebody who's playing with 3 fouls, and Shayla Cheadle.
So the Jayhawks in more foul trouble, absolutely, as they have 3 players now with 3 personal fouls, in Cheadle, Boyd, and Gardner.
6 points for McGee Stafford now. Biggest lead of the second half for Texas. Natalie Knight. Jayhawks trying to find offense without Chelsea Gardner on the floor, and with a huge shot blocking presence under the basket. Terriel Bradley drives it inside. Looked like a lot of contact. Nothing called. It's out of bounds off of Texas. So it'll be Jayhawk ball with 4 seconds to shoot.
Having to drive as the shot clock is winding down, and 2 defenders. I'm not sure how that foul doesn't get called. Now
Shayla Cheadle catches, and she will be fouled.
Texas foul on number 24.
You mentioned Chelsea Gardner on the bench. It's more the presence of her in that scoring threat. You can see here as just too much contact.
That's on Ariel Atkins, her 3rd.
Well, with Chelsea Gardner on the bench, and offensively, that just changes the dynamic so much. And obviously, Texas is aware of that. So,
Natalie Knight's 3-pointer off the mark. McGee Stafford with a baby hook. That's almost indefensible once she catches that, if she can make that turnaround. And a timeout call for by Kansas. The Jayhawks have, what does she have, 9 points and 9 rebounds? She has really been a shot blocking presence inside for Texas. And on the flip side, with Gardner out, the Jayhawks haven't hit a field goal in 5 minutes of clock time.
And Bonnie Henderson has to be aware of that, and she's going to get Chelsea Gardner in the ball game. Even with those 3 personal fouls, she is checked in for the Jayhawks.
They want to get it inside to Gardner, but they throw it too high, and it's tipped away. They almost have to bounce it in there against a player that long, like McGee Stafford. Sanders outside for Texas. Davenport from the short corner. He missed a shot, but the Jayhawks missed the box out. And then a charging foul on Davenport.
Texas foul on number 1.
Nice job by Terriel Bradley to pick up that charge. We're brought to you by Time Warner Cable and the Jayhawk IMG Sports Network. Day 25th for the second installment of the Sunflower Showdown between Kansas State and Kansas. Jayhawks looking for revenge to a loss they had at Bramlage Coliseum earlier in the season. Terriel Bradley driving into traffic. Shot was blocked by Sanders. And rebound to Texas. Davenport traveled with it. Now the turnover has been a problem for each team. 15 apiece. Actually 15 for Texas, 14 for Kansas.
Both had 10 after that first half, so they're on pace to, I guess, double that mark. Chelsea Gardner providing a nice little turnaround look and much needed basket, as Kansas had went 1 of the last 7 in the field goal range. So you got to get her in. I like that move from Bonnie Henderson to go ahead and sub her in, even though she does have 3 personal fouls. Now how about that help defense from Terriel Bradley? Knock the ball away. See if Kansas can continue to cut into this lead.
Turnaround baby hook by Gardner off the mark. Rebound off of Texas. So they stay with the Jayhawks.
Checks back in for Kansas, replacing
Chelsea Gardner getting solid positioning underneath as Bonnie McGee Stafford couldn't deflect it. Oftentimes we've seen her in this ballgame deflected over the top. Solid positioning and then just a quick move over her shoulder. A nice little baby hook.
Now both Manning Allen and Gardner in the ballgame for the Jayhawks. So this is a chance for them to try to outsize Texas, which you don't say very often.
And the first time we've seen this look, we thought we were going to see it a little bit more in this ballgame. And then that size advantage leads to that easy bucket. And she's decisive with that move, Kayla Manning Allen. And she has been decisive with her moves. I'll give her credit for that in this ballgame. But that is a dagger as Brady Sanders for Texas, knocks down that three. She's always looking to spot up for it. And although she hasn't scored that many points, I think she's provided some key metrics for Texas, as Brady Sanders has 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and now 9 points.
She fell to the ground that time on a nice drive to the basket by Boyd, who's now in double figures with 11. The Jayhawks back to within 4 now. Davenport in the lane. That's a tough shot off the window. Her first basket of the game. Boyd measures up a 3. She got it!
What a 3 from Asia Boyd, that senior. Finally now Kansas has she has 14 points, so in double digits in the scoring effort.
Davenport driving in with a reverse layup. She was fouled by Boyd, so right after hitting the big three-pointer, Asia Boyd has just picked up foul number 4 with 8:50 to go in the ball game.
And a couple times now she's been knocked in the face, and she was just trying to help defense as Kayla Manning-Allen got beat on the baseline. She's going to go ahead and check out of the ball game. Cheadle's going to check in.
Might have had a contact lens poked out there. Looks like she was able to hold on to it.
Bottle of contact solution's got a lot out of work tonight.
Davenport hits the first free throw. Now we're going to see the Twin Towers in for each team, which is what you previewed at the beginning of the game, Joe. We thought we'd see a lot of this today, but this, I think, is the first time all game where all 4 players have been on the floor at the same time.
But it's been a chess match, really. So one coach makes a move, and another one combats that and matches that. So finally, we see those 4 players we talked about: 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 6'7" across the board.
Cheadle's in there now with Boyd on the bench in foul trouble. Natalie Knight almost lost it coming off that screen. Chelsea Gardner going to drive on Lang this time, and a foul. If that's on Lang, that's her 4th. It is. So many times we see Chelsea Gardner step out and knock down that 19-footer. This time she took advantage of that and drove on Lang.
And Lang actually came out because she has to go out there and guard Chelsea Gardner, as she has the ability to knock down that jumper. And that gave her just that extra split second to beat her off the dribble.
I really think that foul on Lang came with the body. She blocked that shot cleanly, but kind of got some body on Chelsea to slow her down on her way to the basket. But Chelsea misses the first free throw.
The leading scorer for Texas has to go back to the bench. Only has 4 points in this ball game. Matches that with 4 personal fouls. Chelsea able to knock down that second free throw. So they'll cut into this lead a bit now, as Texas only with that 4-point advantage.
He's led by as many as 7.
A couple times they've led by 7 in this ball game, early in the first half and now again in the second half.
Davenport got her shot blocked by Manning-Allen, but a foul on Manning-Allen, her 3rd.
Manning-Allen was swiping at that ball. You have that height advantage to go straight up, and I think you can get that block. So we take another look at the play, and really it was, she was using Amani McGee-Stafford really as a screen, really just going around her and gets that separation, and then Kayla Manning-Allen trying to close in on her. Picks up the personal foul.
Davenport hits the first free throw. She's been perfect from the line so far tonight.
And she's one of those players for Texas who's been in and out of the starting lineups due to injury as well.
She's battled hip and shoulder injuries. Well, Chelsea Gardner was trying to box out. Everybody missed McGee-Stafford. She misses the turnaround shot. And then the rebound's tied up. It'll stay with Texas.
Well, that rebounding differential that we talk about with Texas is one of the best in the nation, leads the Big 12. It's causing some issues. Anytime you can get some extra looks. There's 38 total rebounds to Kansas's 23.
Let the Longhorns turn it over.
And that's been their Achilles heel, that turnover category.
Now Tynan Napier wants to talk things over. Not sure what the issue is here, if it's something with the clock. They've added 1 second to the clock. That's what that is about.
Never know. You never know at the end of the ball game.
Let's see.
It could matter.
We can laugh now, but if this game comes down to the last second, remember that. And from 8:03 to 8:04 there. Natalie Knight into the basket. Gardner, free throw line jumper, bounces out. McCarty to Atkins. McCarty out front. Big three-pointer there for Brooke McCarty. Her first field goal, her first basket of any kind. Second chance points have outscored Kansas 12-2 in this game, and that accounts for more than the difference in this ball game.
Yeah, that has been the difference in this ball game, are those second chance points. And sometimes when you switch to that zone, oftentimes you give up a little bit more in that rebounding category. And Texas has used that to their advantage, those second chance points.
And keeping the Jayhawks off the offensive glass at the other end. 10 seconds to shoot. Boyd's back in there with 4 fouls. Cheadle had it knocked away and stolen. Davenport goes right around Knight. Atkins on the baseline. That's her first basket, I believe, of the second half.
And she had 15 in the first half, the first bucket. But anytime they get a turnover, Texas has been converting it in transition.
10-point ball game all of a sudden. McCarty knocks it away from behind. Boyd didn't realize, I don't think, that the pesky freshman was right behind her.
Ariel Bradley checks back in for Kansas, replacing Shayla Cheadle.
One thing to keep an eye on with Asia Boyd playing with 4 fouls. She's so good with her ability to drive to the basket, but has a propensity to pick up a charge or 2 per ball game because of that. And obviously, she can't afford to pick up 1 more. She'll be out of the game, so I wonder how that will affect her offensive game the rest of the way. Terriel Bradley might have gotten away with a foot shuffle, and
another foot shuffle.
Yeah, forced up a bad shot there too. Shot off the window, misses by Davenport. McGee Stafford's putback was blocked by Chelsea Gardner. Then another offensive rebound by Texas. They're absolutely killing it on the offensive glass here. They've got 42 rebounds in the game, 15 offensive. McGee Stafford blocked again by Gardner. They wave off the basket. They call it a jump ball after the block shot by Chelsea Gardner.
How about Chelsea Gardner? 3 personal fouls, picks up 2 blocks in that defensive possession. And that's impressive going up against 6'7". Chelsea Gardner at 6'3". It's a great call from the official calling that jump ball.
But the Jayhawks need to go on a little bit of a run offensively here, as they've struggled on this end of the floor much of the half. Shot clock winding down. Knight over to Gardner, had to get it up quickly over McGee Stafford. Gardner in double figures now with 11.
Now nearing that 5-minute mark left in the ball game, you're going to have to get stops. How can you get stops on the defensive end? And they're moving to a man-to-man, so they've switched up. They're out of that zone now because they're giving up too many probably second chance looks.
And McGee Stafford, they're going to call a foul somehow on Natalie Knight on this play for getting run over by McGee Stafford. Boy, that's an amazing call.
Wow, and McGee Stafford has had her way really with over the bag, reaching over, and she just bulldozes over. If anything, I think that's just a no call. I don't think you even really make a call on that. How was Natalie Knight called for that when McGee Stafford actually just plows into her? But
I mean, she's inside the restricted area, so it can't be a charging foul. We get that, but I'm just wondering what Natalie Knight did wrong in that situation. She just got landed on top of by somebody. And it makes it a 3-point play, so McGee Stafford with 11 gives Texas an 11-point lead. Asia Boyd spinning in the lane. She scores and she's fouled. And that's number 4 on Ariel Atkins.
Well, Asia Boyd is that player for the Jayhawks that can create some offense on her own. And it's exactly what she did. Really just one-on-one basketball and gets a friendly bounce. But when you're trying to cut into this lead, you're going to have someone come up big. As Kansas not really in an offensive flow right now, or rhythm at all. And Asia Boyd has been that spark on the offensive end once again, coming off that 18-point performance at 16 points in this ballgame, not getting that 3-point play to drop.
Short arm the free throw. The Jayhawks trying to speed things up a little bit here now, as they are down by 9 with 4:48 to play. Cardi running the point. Taylor. Across to McGee Stafford, shot clock down to 3, and the Jayhawks come away with the loose ball.
And it's hustle and effort from Lauren Aldridge that led to that loose ball, a 50-50 ball, if you will.
The Knight got popped in the face by Taylor there with nothing called, and then the shot was blocked by McGee Stafford.
Texas is wanting to push when they can in transition. They don't have to now, as they have this 9-point lead with 4 minutes to play in the ball game. They're going to try to utilize the shot clock.
Taylor, boy, she's had a tough day shooting the ball for most of the day. She hits a big one right there to make it an 11-point ball game, and Bonnie Henriksen has to call for a timeout with 3:52 to play in the ball game.
Gotta like her effort, and playing also with 4 personal fouls, 7 rebounds, so she's nearing her second career double-double.
Terriel Bradley with a nice crossover to get to the basket. Her first basket of the ball game. Jayhawks got to get some stops now, though, because they're starting to run out of time.
Running out of time, absolutely. And how can you pick up? Maybe they're going to go and trap.
McCarty has hit 2 now, big 3-pointers. She really hadn't even attempted a shot for most of the ball game, but now she's hit 2 big ones down the stretch. And it's a 12-point Texas lead. Equals their biggest lead of the game. Nice drive and dish from Lauren Aldridge to Chelsea Gardner. Jayhawks take care of it on the offensive end, scoring quickly, but again, got to get some stops here.
You can't trade buckets anymore as you're run out of time with under 3 minutes to play in the ball game.
McCarty starting to feel it. Good box out and rebound from Chelsea Gardner. Natalie Knight got a good look at a 3 here, but misses it short. Rebound, Terriel Bradley. Put back air balls. She saves the loose ball and bounds amazingly. Aldridge open for 3. That one doesn't fall. Boy, that was in and out. Jayhawks had 2 good looks from 2 good shooters that could have really made this interesting.
Well, the effort play of the ball game from Terriel Bradley, it was just an amazing say to keep that ball alive, and just unfortunate for the Jayhawks couldn't get that 3. I mean, that would have been a big momentum switch, and that would have narrowed that lead down to 7.
The block by Chelsea Gardner to knock it out of bounds.
Impressive, as Chelsea Gardner has had a couple now blocks, 3 I think, in foul trouble, not picking up another personal foul. She's sitting still at 3 personal fouls.
Attempts in the second half.
Now 1 of 6 in the second half. And on the other side, for Texas, 4 for 6 behind the arc. So that has been a huge difference from the first half to second half in this ballgame.
Longhorns don't get a shot off here. They're going to use all 30 seconds on the shot clock. And with 1:48 to play, while they don't want a shot clock violation, well, boy, the Jayhawks just turned it over right out of that. The Longhorns will eat up as much clock as they can again here.
And McCarty just still fighting hard. I mean, she didn't have to go back and, to put some pressure on, but she does, picks up the steal. Now, once again, Chelsea Gardner with the block.
But as the shot clock is winding down, The Longhorns convert. Breonna Taylor with 12 points now and only 1:08 to play. Natalie Knight, she scores and the foul, and Natalie Knight with that basket has reached 1,000 points in her career here at the University of Kansas.
Well, congratulations to Natalie Knight. Well-deserved, milestone for her in her career. Tremendous career as a Kansas Jayhawk. And oftentimes you would think Natalie Knight would get that mark maybe by making and knocking down a three, but something different they've asked her to do in her senior season is drive to the basket, be more aggressive on the offensive end, and exactly what she did on that play.
Bittersweet though for Natalie, even though she makes the free throw, to have 1,001 points.
What she does so well is get her feet set. And how about the steal? And now they're going to call Chelsea Gardner though for a travel. She's been good on the defensive end. Not too many steals, but has 5 blocks, does Chelsea Gardner. Especially picking up those blocks in foul trouble for most of that time.
Taylor gets the inbounds. Tries to throw it ahead. Boy, it was about to be a turnover, but a foul on Asia Boyd. She's just fouled out of the ballgame. It's the 3rd time this year that Asia's fouled out of a ballgame. She finishes with 16 points, 7 rebounds. Free throw by Taylor is off the mark.
And Taylor's put together an impressive second half. She struggled in that first half, but definitely heated up in the second. 1 for 7 in the first. And in the second, 4 for 6.
She's got 13 points after hitting that free throw. She's come out of the ball game now. Jayhawks trail by 10 again with just 1 minute to go in the game. Longhorns looking to snap a 4-game losing streak, and the Jayhawks looking now down the barrel of a 3-game losing streak of their own. Terriel Bradley for 3 that misses. 45 seconds left. Foul on Kansas. It'll be on Lauren Aldridge, who has played, I believe, all 40 minutes in this ball game.
Well, Sanders has now around, I think, 10 rebounds in the rebounding category. So she's had a tremendous ball game, just hustle plays. There's one of those hustle plays is going to lead her to the free throw line. They did have to foul her to stop the clock.
The junior is now in double figures with 10 points. Chelsea Gardner will take the guarded jumper. She hits it.
On the pass from Natalie Knight.
A foul on Kansas with 27 seconds to go. 10-point ball game. So Chelsea now with 16 points on the game after knocking this one down.
Showing her range. Such a pretty jumper for her size at 6'3". The ability to step back and knock down that jumper makes her so difficult to defend.
Crystal Henderson off the mark with the free throw. Now Imani McGee-Stafford is going to come back into the ballgame, and what a game she has had coming off the bench for the Longhorns today.
Yeah, 12 points, 16 rebounds. At 6'7", we knew she was going to cause some issues for the Jayhawks. And also just defensive, deflecting some balls. And really the second chance points, which have been a huge point in this ball game. Second chance points, 17 for Texas, only 2 for Kansas.
Jayhawks will not foul now. And the Longhorns dribble out the clock. And they put an end to their 4-game losing streak. The Jayhawks have now lost 3 in a row. They dropped to 4-9 in the league. The